In honor of the Met Gala being 1 week away, I thought it'd be interesting if we look through Karl Lagerfeld's past designs for the different design houses he's worked for, look through some looks that we might potentially be seeing on the red carpet of this year's Met Gala. Let's get to this, shall we? Okay, so what is the Met Gala? The Met Gala happens the first Monday of every May. It is an annual fundraising event that fundraises for the Costume Institute at the Met. Of course, that's the New York Met. Every year we see amazing star-studded red carpets with unique looks, some better than others, some on theme, some just there for the vibe. But what I thought it would be very fun to do would be to look at some of, at least my opinion, I thought it'd be fun to look at some of Karl Lagerfeld's past design work for the different design houses and see what we might potentially be seeing on the red carpet in a week. I think this is a fun idea. If you're excited, leave a like and let's get to this. I'm so excited. There's a handful of looks. I chose all these looks myself. I did a lot of research for this video, so let's get right into it. I ended up whittling down like 15 looks to I think 7 or 8. Oh, and we're also going to be talking about the 9 interpretations from a Vogue video of different designers interpreting Karl Lagerfeld's look. And I'm wondering if we'll see those looks on the red carpet of the Met this year. So let's get to it. Okay, so first, right off the bat, starting off strong, I'm hoping we see the iconic Chanel chain dress. This was first seen in 1992, worn on the red carpet of Chanel 1992 Haute Couture, and it was first worn by model Christy Turlington, and then we saw it again in the Met Gala on 2019, worn by Lily Rose Depp. I'm not entirely sure what the theme was for that year, but we're going to talk about it because we're talking about this look. Personally, just because it was already worn to a Met Gala, I don't think it means it shouldn't be allowed back at a Met Gala. I think someone should bring back this look, or maybe evolve on this look. Maybe these chains are on top of a suit. Maybe it's a train. Maybe it's becoming a fringe almost. I think it leaves opportunity for a very, very amazing idea. A designer just needs to execute it well. Up next, we have Chanel Haute Couture Fall Winter 1993. Wowza. So the 90s Chanel was amazing. Probably some of my favorite looks that were on the runway. Helena Christensen in that first look, amazing. Those sleeves are so cool. I think the sleeves, the huge cage, I think it's an amazing look, and I'm hoping this look, along with 2 others, another one worn by Claudia Schiffer, another one worn by Claudia Schiffer, and another one by Cindy Crawford, who is Kaia Gerber's mother. And I'm kind of hoping Kaia Gerber really shows the fuck out and wears this look in honor of her mother. I'm really, really hoping. And I know Cindy Crawford has worked and done different stuff for Chanel, but I just hope she goes for it. Up next, we have Chanel 1999, Devon Aoki. This look is one of my favorites. I like how it's extravagant, it's fluffy, it's adorable, it's a little, this isn't my definition, the way that you wear a pretty dress to a Met Gala. It's a ball gown, but it has like this sort of cropped midriff situation, and not just the one that Devon Aoki is wearing. The other 2 right behind it, I think all 3 of them would be perfect contenders to be worn at the Met Gala. It's a pretty dress, yes, but it's sort of this reference of when Karl Lagerfeld would sometimes work in these really pastel colors. And it's something that he started doing when he first started working at Chanel in the 80s. I believe it was 82 when he started at Chanel. But I might be flubbing it a little bit, but I'm doing a lot of research. I might be right. So Chanel Haute Couture 2005. This collection to me sort of is a really, really good encapsulation of like what Karl Lagerfeld's work really, really felt like. It referenced a lot of Victorian era, Edwardian era silhouettes and shapes and ideas, and really modernized them. I think Karl Lagerfeld did this amazing thing of referencing things, but still finding a way to make them modern. It's very similar. I think he quoted it himself. And I actually think it's an idea he got from Coco Chanel herself. There was a interview I saw of him where he mentioned that in World War II, where there wasn't so much access to fabrics, Coco Chanel started making dresses out of jersey material. It was breathable, it was lighter, and it still looked luxe to the everyday woman. He mentioned that he was inspired by that and sort of took that approach with the iconic Chanel silhouettes and finding new fabrics to innovate upon that. I feel like this is sort of a house code of Chanel. We take something classic and figure out a way to reinterpret it, whether it be something so small as what it's being made out of, what the finishings are, what the findings are. I think that would be very, very, I think that's a really cool way of thinking about things. Like how he used terry cloth, a fabric commonly used in towels, and made Chanel bags out of them. I think it's so, so cool. It's innovative, it's fun, it's fresh. And I think in this situation, a lot of these silhouettes feel Victorian and Edwardian, and even some reference Regency, and they have a very feminine, soft approach to them, very classic beauty, really edging towards the 1800s. And I like the way that he's modernized them, especially the feathered wigs. I think all the looks with the feathered wigs really take this very unique approach, especially the look that I'm focusing on, which is the white with the pink bows and the matching sleeve. I think it's such an amazing look, and I'm hoping someone recreates these looks, but with an elevated version of that feathered wig. I'm hoping someone creates like a feathered afro or some way, shape, or form to elevate on that idea. I think it would be iconic, and I might have to show y'all how to do it. Okay, the next one. Chanel Fall 2011. Specifically this white look with this really long train, this feathered hat, again, feathers, and this lace mask. I think it's so mysterious and so alluring. I would love to see someone walk down the red carpet in this, especially with the idea of white and wearing white to this. That's honoring someone. I think it would be more paying a tribute and honoring this person that we've lost rather than being so mournful. Up next is the Chanel Iceberg collection, Fall Winter 2011. It is Fall Winter 2011. At least I think it is. It is 2010-11. Woohoo! This collection, there's a few looks I have in mind. I hope someone shows up in just the fur little jumpsuit situation, looking like a cuddly teddy bear. But I'm also hoping that someone rolls up wearing any of these fur moments. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Karl Lagerfeld was the one that started putting fur, creating the Chanel look and associating it with fur, and then moving that towards Fendi. I'm not entirely sure if it was him entirely, but I do believe that there's several moments where they credit him with doing that. I do know Anna was the one that put fur on the cover of Vogue, and people were buying fur everywhere. But I hope people wear these huge long fur jackets. The one I specifically want someone to wear is the white coat with the black trimming on it. That is sexy. Oh my god, I hope someone wears it with like a bunch of Chanel chains, sort of referencing the Linda Evangelista look, but with a huge fur coat. That would be stunning. I think by far, like, that's one of the men's looks that I'm the most excited for. I'm hoping to see just some classic men in full tweed suits, but I'm hoping we get some real fun old school references to Chanel. Next is the Fendi look. I had a little bit of a hard time finding Fendi stuff, just because I know Karl Lagerfeld isn't the sole creative director at Fendi, or at least wasn't. I know he had some influence on it, or it was designed in collaboration with the other creative director. But this first look, the long brown blazer with the big, like, comically big bow, the leggings, I'm hoping someone does this look or references it. Maybe they put like a sheer, like, really huge, like, peplum ball gown underneath. I think that would be so pretty. I even love the coats that have that bow tied in the back. I think that's such a really great way that the collection ties itself together. I love that throughout the collection it's a lot of these browns and tans and nude shades, but there's these pops of yellow and pink and green and like vinyl leather. I'm not sure if it's like a laminated leather or vinyl, but Nonetheless, I do like this collection. It's a very different side of Karl that we can see at the way he was able to multitask and change like a chameleon depending on the houses he was working with. And I really, really love this. I think that the entire thing is so cohesive. And those pops of colors, I think those pops of colors would be great on the red carpet at the Met this year, especially on a runway that we're probably gonna see a lot of black and white. Personally. Up next is my favorite Khloe look that he's ever done, which is the rainbow like swiggle trippy acid trip dress. He did this dress in a few different cuts, I believe. This is a longer one. He also did a shorter version, but I love that his work at Khloe was very, very pretty. There was a lot of beauty happening, a lot of like effortless beauty. It was a softer glamour, a feminine glamour. And I think that that's so, so nice to see. That he knew the different customers for the different brands he worked for, and he knew what they were going to fall for. He knew that what they were going to fall in love with. And I think that he did such a good job in this Khloe collection of articulating that. This soft feminine beauty that is still classic and so easy to fall in love with. It's beautiful to me. Okay, now we're getting into some more current iterations of Karl Lagerfeld. Vogue had 9 designers interpret a look inspired by Karl Lagerfeld's body of work. And I thought it'd be fun if we look at those too. We're already here looking at Karl Lagerfeld's work. Let's look at some work that designers that are inspired by Karl Lagerfeld, referencing Karl Lagerfeld. Maybe that'll give us an idea of what we might see. Maybe we'll see these looks. I know they're actually really great looks. I saw them all. They're very, very brilliant, bright, and different. They're very, very interesting. So let's get to it. Because up first, we have Christopher John Rogers. If you don't know Christopher John Rogers, amazing designer. Such a genius with color and shape and volume. And what it looks like he's doing is creating this ball gown that has these huge stripes and shapes of different shades of pink, which is interesting because I think when we think about Karl Lagerfeld, we think about the black and the white, not the color. But he did design in color. He brought color to his first collection ever at Chanel. And I think this idea of Karl Lagerfeld never working in color is interesting. And I'm hoping that in this Met Gala, people aren't just wearing black and white. I'm hoping that people are introducing color in some way, very much like he did. He introduced color in unique ways. Up next is Donatella Versace. And Donatella's group, or at least Donatella, worked on this flower design and sort of had that embroidered or appliqued in fur, or what looked like fur. And she says that she was inspired by his glamour and his opulence, and referenced his work at Fendi, which I agree. At Fendi, his work was very opulent, and there was a lot of fur and those furry textures that we saw on the runway from him. There was even the little Fendi dolls, and a Fendi doll that looked like him, if I'm not correct. And I do like that she paired it with the black bustier, because Karl was always seen wearing black. And I actually love the hat. I am so sad that the hat was not worn in the final photo. I think that hat is amazing, and I hope, Kendall Jenner's already wearing it. I wonder if she's just going to wear it to the Met Gala this year. It already fits her. She better wear that hat. Up next, we have Pierpaolo Piccoli. And what I really like about Pierpaolo's look is it looks like the Chanel flower all over on this coat. And it has these feathers sticking out. Again, feathers. I feel Karl loved birds. He loved feathers. Maybe it was a reference to his cat eating birds. But I love this very simple underneath. Very referential to Karl. Very much his uniform that he wore every day. With this huge flowered jacket with these feathers. It's so romantic. Up next, we have, I don't want to butcher this, but I think it's Chitose Abe. And Chitose Abe was very much inspired on the sort of, very much the uniform of Karl Lagerfeld. The black and the white shirt, the tie, and I really like how she really evolved on it with these pleatings and this shape. I think the way that it moved is so amazingly impactful, and it really, really showcases how she manipulates the fabric. And this does feel like something that maybe in another world Karl Lagerfeld would wear. I do see it. I completely think Karl Lagerfeld when I see this look. And I love the color blocking of it. The white and then the hard black. The final photo in motion is fabulous. Fabulous. Who's next? Oh, up next we have John Galliano. I shouldn't say. John Galliano went for like a nipped waist design and with polka dots. Again in that black and white. I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of black and white at this red carpet. So I think it's very fitting. I think it's a very, very pretty look. And it almost looks like a flower bud sort of like opened and like deconstructing itself. And I think it was very interesting seeing him project the image of polka dots onto the unfinished dress so he can see where these polka dots are going to lie and how to manipulate the polka dots and how they would impact the final look. I thought that was genius. Ingenuity in design. Up next we have Olivier Rousteing, and if I'm not correct, he was referencing the work that Karl Lagerfeld did at Balmain when Karl was at Balmain. And he really went in with a suit, which I think is great. It's timeless. Karl Lagerfeld, I'm sure, designed a bunch of suits. I'm sure he also, Olivier specifically pointed out the shoulder, the sharp shoulder. And I think that that's great. And then, of course, Naomi Campbell modeling this look tops it all off. It's more of a suit with a cape, I think. And her holding a cat. We all know Karl loved his kitty. Karl's cat had their own maids. Like, damn, that's luxury. Up next is Jun Takahashi. And Jun Takahashi did a very interesting approach. He stayed in that realm of the black and the white and also with the tweed. But something they did that was very unique was using a razor motif and applying that onto the edges, sort of creating a punk influenced Chanel look, and with the feathers and the razors and the sequin, mixing the felt with the tweed. It was very interesting. I think he truly went into the mind of Karl Lagerfeld and manipulated those ideas, the ideas of Karl taking new approaches to his classic designs and reimagining them. Plus, that headpiece is fun. I hope someone wears this look too. That headpiece alone slays. Up next is Simone Roca. I love Simone Roca. I was so sad that I could not grab any of the Simone Roca collection at H&M. But Simone Roca was inspired by Karl's time at Khloe, I believe, and was inspired by a lace dress and created a white lace version, which I thought was so smart. I think when sticking to a one color that has all this visual texture, because with lace and all this organza and the shape it was making, I think it's so pretty, so romantic, a very like soft sexiness. It truly is beautiful. And I feel like at every Karl Lagerfeld show there was, correct me if I'm wrong, there was most of the time a wedding look that ended the show. Sorry, Simone just winked at me. And I think that's important to think about, sort of referencing the way that his shows worked. And finally, we have Thom Browne, who is probably my favorite designer. I love Thom Browne. His work is amazing. And Thom Browne's approach was the suit and sort of reimagining Karl Lagerfeld's suiting, and as well as taking his approach to it. Because Thom Browne does a lot of deconstructed, reconstructed suits. And I think it was so smart that, and I actually think it was a perfect match made in heaven, that Thom Browne's aesthetic and Karl Lagerfeld's aesthetic sort of meshed well together. And even creating this giant suit, this like cape coat, that was a bunch of deconstructed suits that came together. I feel like this is the look I would want to wear, 100%. This is my favorite look from this video. It is so stunning, so impactful. And through watching this video, I'm definitely inspired, and even more inspired with the look that I'm going to illustrate for the Met Gala. I think that it was, all 9 of these designers did amazing with the theme, with what they were given. I think they stayed true to their aesthetic, as well as reincorporating and being inspired by Karl Lagerfeld. I was very, very impressed, very, very inspired, and I'm really, really hoping that I'm hoping we see some of these looks in motion or versions of this from these 9 designers at the Met. I'm hoping that all these designers show up to the Met Gala with these looks and some other looks sort of inspired by them. I think that'd be fascinating. I think it'd be cool, and it's really, really interesting. I've just realized these looks aren't going to be on the red carpet. They're going to be on display. They're absolutely going to be on display at the Met. These looks have to be on display at the Met. I'm just not realizing that. They're going to be on display at the Met. Oh, wow. So my final thoughts on this theme. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see what we're going to see. I'm hoping we see more than just Chanel tweed jackets and Chanel purses. I think it'd be cool if someone comes dressed up as a Chanel bag, or if someone references the Linda Evangelista cover look and just a bunch of the Chanel chains. I'm hoping someone comes in that skimpy Chanel bathing suit that barely covers anything and a towel. I'm hoping that we get some really campy and interesting looks, because I think with Karl Lagerfeld's legacy, the one thing that remained true to me is that he was an innovator. He had fun with fashion. He found new ways to incorporate fashion, and I think that that's the idea. I think that is a true idea behind this red carpet theme, innovating off of what Karl Lagerfeld's legacy has left us, and I'm really excited for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys stay tuned for my Met Gala review. Yes, that's happening. And I hope you guys stay tuned for my look. We're going to be taking a break from the Next in Fashion episode analysis, and we're going to talk about the Met Gala for a couple weeks. So that should be fun and exciting and fresh and new. Ding! Although I think we're going to be doing... I don't remember what I was going to say. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope that this inspired you to illustrate something for the Met Gala this year. You got a week. Start thinking. With that, I'm gonna go. I'll see y'all next week for the Met Gala. Until then, stay tuned. Bye!